Turn on my mic. There we go. There, okay. Let's call to order this regular meeting of the Peabody Public Library Board of Trustees for August 2022. It's date is August 10th. We will note that we have a quorum, and I would ask for a motion regarding the minutes of the July 13th meeting. First, let's just do separate motions. Let's first do a motion regarding the regular meeting on that date.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes.
Move to approve. Nikki moved to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting. Is there a second? Carmen seconds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes for the regular meeting of July 13th, 2022, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So those are approved. Then I will for a motion. And you know, the executive session minutes are never very interesting, but assuming we stayed on topic, we should still like to approve them. So I will seek a motion regarding the executive session minutes as well.
Make a motion to approve the executive section on July 13th.
Chris has moved to approve the executive session minutes for July 13th, 2022. Is there a second? Seconds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the executive session minutes for July 13th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those are also approved. Look past my agenda. That goes into the director's report. Mary?
So, I went to the budget workshop and indicated in your information about the operating budget and then the approved revenues. And then I also wanted you to be aware of the way we make our payments for the debt service. That final payment, we won't be getting all our money until the end of the year of 2024, so we may need to, go ahead.
Can we move from one silo to another or
Yes,
something like that?
yes, we can.
Is that, am I using the right term?
Well, I usually say fund, but however you want to say it, I understand. So, but that is something that you will have to do down the road, most likely the end of 2023. Maybe we can do it at the end of this year, so that we have enough money in there to pay that final debt payment. And then we reimburse the fund once we get all our tax
Right,
revenues.
it's basically just borrowing.
Correct.
Do you have that set up right now that that's right for motion, or do you want to look at the numbers more to see from what fund we might borrow?
Yeah, I would rather wait
Okay.
until, if you decide you want to do it this year, I'd rather wait to the end of this year, so.
Well, the option would be to borrow money from the current,
Correct.
right?
Correct, and I'm like, no, I don't think we're going to do that, so.
Again, there's not a formal motion on the floor. Does anybody have any strong feelings? Otherwise, I guess what I would propose, I think what Mary was suggesting was that we borrow from an internal fund to pay for the debt service and to repay that internally rather than go out and borrow money and pay interest.
Right.
Okay. It sounds like there's sort of general assent, so let's head that direction and be prepared with some details.
All right, thank you. And then I included the disaster recovery plan in there for you. And of course, as I printed the discovery plan, or disaster recovery, not discovery. Although there is always a discovery of some disaster, usually every day. At any rate, when I ran out, of course, I found an area where I had Chester instead of ABC. So I still would like your approval of the new plan. The only thing I wanted to just discuss with you is, as I indicated, if I would get hit by a bus tomorrow and succumb to my injuries, the person in the library right now that could take over would be Christy Whitten. And I just wanted you to know that I did talk to her about it. She's okay with that. It would have to be for a set amount of time. And then, of course, she would need to be compensated for the extra duties. So I wanted you to be aware of that and make sure you're okay with it. too. So, I understand that.
And that wasn't a formal part of the plan, was
It's
it?
actually, there's a part of the plan at the very back that's alternate personnel. And this all came out when COVID happened, so that we would still be able to run, but some other people may need to do those jobs.
Okay, so if we approve the disaster plan, we have approved that recommendation.
Correct.
Okay, I see it now, I'm sorry.
That is not a problem. So what happened is the supervisor and I went through, and it's so funny because this is what, maybe 18 months old, and there's been so many changes already. So we went through and we decided who would take over for, like, if Christy had to be off and she couldn't do the schedule, who would do the schedule? If Christy was off and couldn't catalog books, who would cover for her? Who would cover for youth services? We went through the whole line so that alternate personnel are already established should something happen.
And my only concern with that is that it sounds, some of those replacements for alternate personnel seem very sensitive to the individual personalities as opposed to the job descriptions that they have. Am I wrong on that? Because I'm not sure the technical services person would always be the person. Oftentimes, I would think you might want to have a adult services or somebody else.
Oh, you mean as acting ED or
Yes.
something? Okay.
But I guess I'm not bothered by that. I just want to know if my understanding is incorrect. If that's the case, I think that's still fine. It just does mean we probably want to put this on a regular update basis if we're going to be sensitive to who the people are.
Who are
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Now, the only thing that you have to be concerned about is they have to have a master's degree. So of people in the building is Katie and Joe, Christy and I. Those are the 4 people that have a master's degree. So that is the only thing. And I totally went by experience and,
Oh, no, that makes sense, but,
Yeah.
but that's, I don't think it's a bad idea when you said that the event is when we update it again. We have a normal rotation for updating personnel and policy and things like that. Is this plugged into that somewhere, or could it be?
it needs to be.
Okay.
And I haven't done that yet.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, I'm sorry.
I was going to agree with the same, just for the vendor list alone, just make sure it's updated.
Mhm.
Yes.
I mean, you're absolutely right.
But, and I think it probably should at least be reviewed annually again, not just for the vendor list, but also because I think some of those succession things
They
are
change.
personality sensitive.
Okay, and you don't care when I have it take care of it just so it gets done?
No, it might be easier just to put it at a time of year when we're not already meeting with committees to do personnel and policy stuff.
Okay,
Master call list,
yes.
is there a reason that board president or anyone wouldn't be on that list as well?
I thought Greg was, under
Okay, Greg.
emergency, board director on page 13.
Page 12, okay.
Board director, emergency closing, Greg is on there. You don't have it?
My page 13 is the vendor list. Is that-
Yeah, we have him under vendor list.
Oh, he's under vendor list.
Okay.
Okay, there you go, all right. Never mind.
I certainly
I see it
have.
then. Yep, I apologize and thank you.
If you don't mind the interruption, could we go ahead and take action on that right now?
Perfect.
Okay. And we do not have to approve, but I guess I would like to visit the subject of the disaster recovery plan that has been circulated. It sounds like you've had a chance to look over it. Is that something that anyone feels comfortable making a motion regarding tonight, or something we should table for further consideration?
Mary, I'm sorry, did you say there was like one word you want to change?
Oh, there are going to be, like, I thought I changed everything that had Chester, who used to be our IT vendor, to ABC Technology, and I discovered when I printed this right before the meeting that I missed a spot. So, I mean, if you want to make a motion saying,
With the exception of ABC Technology
or with the exception of all the errors Mary hasn't found yet, I don't know.
We'll put it into place and then revisit it next month, or you just want to table it for this month? Or
I think let's get it in place. We already have one in place. I mean, this is just sort of an update, and I guess that's my thought, but Chris, are you comfortable
Yes, I
moving
am.
to approve it with technical corrections as may be deemed necessary by the director?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second, thank you.
Okay, so any further discussion? I know that we asked a lot of questions on the front end.
There's no.
Okay.
It looks good. It looks good.
Well, the government's working as it should, I guess.
Do we, with that motion?
Yes.
Do we want to put that in there that we will revisit this annually, or that would just come up in?
I don't think that that's a bad idea. If that's part of your motion, you accept that part of the second. Okay, so it's actually been moved and seconded not only to approve the disaster recovery plan subject to technical corrections by the director, but also that we revisit this or implement an annual review process for it as well. Okay. No discussion, then all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Disaster recovery plan is approved. Mary, please continue.
Okay, so I wanted to let you know the employee entrance door, which is the door back here, I unlocked it and then I went, somebody said it wasn't locking correctly or something, so I went back and took my key and I unlocked it to relock it and it got stuck in the unlocked position, which means Mary has to stay overnight and sleep in a sleeping bag by the door if she doesn't get it figured out. So I had Sonny, who's a really great volunteer, he and I jerry-rigged that darn door so that we could actually lock it. And the following day, Canal Lock came out and fixed everything, which was great. But I'm letting you know this because obviously the doors are getting older, and if I have an issue with one, it's kind of like the plumbing. I just want that to be on your radar. So, and then John Keiser did come out. He did meet with the trustees, and I don't know, Nikki, did you want to talk about that at all, or not really, or because he met with you and Lori? I just didn't know.
I'd like to hear, in part because we had been discussing, I met with him virtually, and we had been discussing sort of his recommendations as to whether or not we should put sort of an ad hoc search committee in place to work with him on that, and whether or not that was something he wanted. Nikki, so why don't you go? I didn't get a firm impression. I had mentioned, I think, to Mary that I thought it would be helpful to maybe have three of us serve on sort of an ad hoc committee, and I was thinking you and Chris, kind of executive committee, that would not be subject to open door, but would be there to work as a liaison with him. But if that's going to be problematic, I don't know that I visited that specific thing with him. I think you got the impression he would prefer to not have those meddling kids or
So
something.
Lori was in the meeting with me, we just got to the subject to talk about whether or not to have a committee for the new director.
Yes.
And I thought his recommendation made sense that we not have a committee. It sounded like he was going to do, what we paid him to do, which was to put out the search, narrow it down to a very small number, then bring it to the committee, to the board, the whole board. Then the whole board could ask the questions that mattered to them so that everybody felt like they had input at the very end. Did I?
Yes, that's was my takeaway too. Just so that you don't have a committee, and even if you involve, outside stakeholders, then you go through this process, and everybody on the committee is gung-ho about the candidate, that the trustees may not know that person very well, or they'll explore the process. So I've been on search committees. I've been done it both ways. And I think that I was very confident with his skill level and being able to really vet very good quality candidates for the position. They have a real passion for working with libraries, so I don't think that, I think we're gonna have very quality people to choose from.
Well, and I guess my thought, I guess I defaulted to that because I thought that's what one does. But I would be lying to you if I told you I was looking for another opportunity to have a meeting once a month or something. So if it wasn't seen as a big deal, and if nobody here is screaming up and down that we need to do that, we could put something in place at any time if we feel he's not being responsive enough or we're not getting enough information. Does anybody else have any thoughts about that? And then just won't have to take action. Okay. The other thing, while we're there, do you have anything else you want to share in your conversation? I had actually something completely different about conversations that he's been having via email with Mary and me.
I would be interested to hear that first.
Okay.
In case it's what we would.
Okay, well, the primary thing was he was trying to identify, and Mary, if I'm mischaracterizing this, let me know.
Okay.
But I think he was trying to identify possible problem areas with getting good responses from qualified candidates. And the main thing that struck him was that we have a 90-day waiting period before someone can qualify to participate in our health insurance plan. And he said that he did not think somebody was going to give up another job, possibly move here, and then wait and pay their own insurance out of pocket, hoping that they could get on Marketplace or something for 90 days, and that he thought that was a problem. Frankly, I understand that, and we have apparently put that in place. I know that's something PHP insists on. I know my law firm, if a lawyer or partner joins, they don't have to wait,
Right.
but all of our staff have a 30-day waiting period. And I think part of that's because of the probationary thing. I think there's all sorts of reasons for it. But I was going to ask the board about their feelings about waiving that requirement. Mary has been in contact with PHP, and all they need to hear from us is that we are requesting waiver of that for that person when we hire them. But because it's in place right now with a 90-day waiting period, that's what we have done in the past, we thought it was appropriate that we visit that with the board, make sure that everybody feels comfortable either with that or with not doing it, so that we can give a clear indication to John as to how to advertise things and what would happen.
And I just wanted to add, I went ahead and checked with Companion Life. They provide our life insurance and our short-term disability and all those kinds of things. And then, Emeritus, who provides the dental and vision, and they have all said that, you know, there's a process we have to follow, but that they can be waived as well. So what I'm saying is they would get all the benefits on their start date.
And again, there's not a formal motion, someone feels comfortable making such a motion, you're welcome to, but we could also discuss that concerns back and forth.
Is that a piece that is a negotiation piece when that time comes, or is that something we need to do now before they even go out?
Well, I guess my thought would be, he seemed to think that he didn't want to even advertise the position. He seemed to think that was going to be such a poison pill
Okay.
that saying benefits would be available within 90 days, or that as soon as somebody would ask about it, then he'd say after 90 days, but we can check to see if they'll waive it. He's afraid, he thinks we need to say they would have benefits on the first day. That we're going to spoil the pool of candidates. That's the impression I got.
That is definitely what he implied.
So that's, I guess what I would be asking is, yes, if the board would consider waiving that provision for hiring the executive director under these circumstances.
I would make a motion that we waive that
And allow them to have
and allow them to
benefits.
have benefits as part of their full compensation package beginning day one.
The full benefits package?
Well, at least the insurance benefits.
The insurance, I mean,
Dental, all of those as well.
I mean, the dental is something they still pay
Right.
for, but the access to it would be.
Yeah.
That and the apps, like, there's some things they would pay for.
Yeah,
that they-
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's so moved. Is there a second? That's the second motion. Further discussion? Nikki? No? All in favor of waiving the 90-day waiting period that would normally attach to a full-time staff member for insurance benefits eligibility for the executive director we plan to hire, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I say here. Mary, there was something else, but I didn't think it was as big a deal. Or was there something else he had mentioned?
I'm looking. No, I don't have anything, but the only thing I wanted to mention is this is just Mary in hindsight. I'm really thinking you guys should have a contract. I know I developed a memorandum of understanding, but a contract might be the better way to go to.
With John?
A contract between the board and the new ED,
Oh, I
Employment-
got you.
an employment contract. So.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
So I didn't have one, so I don't know a lot about it, but I know some libraries do, and I'm just throwing it out there for your consideration. So.
And we put that on unfinished business. I don't think we need to make
Right,
a
no,
decision
no,
about that
right.
tonight, but not bad. Okay, continue if you have more.
I did want to let you know that Jake Walker is going to start cleaning the roof on Monday and Tuesday of next week, which I'm glad. And then the only
Ryan
other
Walker?
thing,
Ryan Walker?
his name's Jake Walker.
Jake?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
from Warsaw.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought you said Jeff Walker, and I was like, no, I don't think it's Jeff.
No, it's not Jake.
Jeff is not allowed on the
That's
road.
like, I can't imagine Jeff Walker on that. Okay, Jake, okay.
And then, did you want to see if anybody be willing to be the secretary
Oh, yes.
starting?
And, let me see, kind of already handled that. Okay. You may or may not be aware, Beth is going to be leaving the board sometime in the next 30 to 60 days. And she is a school board appointee, and it's my understanding that the school board is soliciting candidates right now, but she is our secretary. And I think it would be appropriate, I would like to not have to do that on the last, she's going to be here at least one more meeting, but if we could have somebody else serve as secretary, I think that would be a good idea, at least until the next election cycle that we have. I'm looking over at YouTube because the two of you and Mark would be the only ones that aren't already officers.
I nominate Mark.
You know what, Mark would probably do that, and it's fair game.
I can do some
Do you,
Yeah.
I nominate Carmen.
okay,
I know.
all right.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, nominate Carmen. Are there further nominations?
Nope.
Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to elect Carmen the secretary for the balance of Beth's term by acclamation.
Aye.
So moved.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
second. Chris, let's say Lori moves, Chris seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There you go.
How
Congratulations.
quick should we get Carmen in this job?
She'll hand over the official
30 seconds.
tape recorder.
Speed record.
Recorder at the next meeting. Thank you so much, Carmen. Appreciate that. Okay, and thank you, Mary. I have not put that on my list of stuff to follow up on.
Okay.
Carmen, are you still Carmen Jagger?
I'm not. I'm Carmen Ross, but I won't be updating my social media for a while. So.
Okay.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry. Did you not hear that?
congratulations.
Thank you.
And before we go to claims, I did have one thing I was going to just say. This is just, I don't think it's considered realia